Well, I was born and raised in Monterey, and as John Kennedy used to say, the oceans are the salt in our veins, and the oceans were important to me, both as a child growing up here, but also as somebody who recognized the importance and the beauty of our oceans in this area. So when I was elected to Congress, I really thought it was important to protect our oceans, and I think one of the proudest things I did in Congress was to establish the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Having done that, I really continued to work on oceans issues because it's a wonderful resource and something we really ought to try to protect. The sanctuary actually requires that the bay be protected in its natural state. That means that nothing can be built, nothing can be done to the coastline, no offshore drilling, nothing that could impact on the beauty and the wildlife of that natural resource. So I designated it in Congress for the purpose of making sure that it would be protected as it was when I was a boy, as it is now, and I wanted it protected that way for my children as well. We did a lot of work on it and went around the country and found that our oceans were being threatened in a number of ways. One, pollution, increased pollution. We are losing our wetlands, which are the nurseries for our fisheries. We're losing our fisheries, which are important to our economy and to communities around the country. We're losing our wetlands. We're losing a lot of the fisheries and wildlife in our oceans are being impacted by climate change and growing toxicity in the oceans as well. So when you look at the broad sweep of issues impacting on our oceans, there's no question that they're being threatened. Communities and regional governments are trying to do more to protect it, but a lot more needs to be done to make sure that that natural resource is going to be there for the future. In dealing with the coastline here, there were often times when you get the environmentalists on one side of the issue and the fishermen on the other side of the issue, and there would be conflict, and one side thinks that the other side is basically out to do no good. And what it took was to put everybody in the same room and to make both sides understand that in the end, in protecting our ocean resource, we're going to protect the livelihood of fishermen, and we're also going to protect the beauty that concerns environmentalists. I've always believed you can do both. And ultimately, if you make people talk to one another and understand the issues involved, I think both can come together to agree that we have to do everything possible to protect our oceans. I think it's one of those areas where Republicans and Democrats can agree. It's a great natural resource. Republicans and Democrats have worked together to protect the natural beauty of our country. I think they recognize that our oceans are a tremendous resource, economically as well as recreationally, as well as important to our very lives. And because of that, I think it's an issue that both sides recognize we have a responsibility as stewards to protect for the future. I've always been optimistic in politics. You have to be. And I believe in American leadership. And I think ultimately we will get back to governing in our democracy. But I don't think it's going to happen because of the leadership we currently have. I don't think it's going to change from the top down. I think it's going to change when we elect new members to both the House and the Senate who are willing to focus on what it takes to govern our country and not focus so much on party as country.